Okay, gang, we're back at this problem I had given in the last video, and we had started with Descartes' rule of signs, and we had moved to the rational zero test, and we had just figured out what our potential list was, our competitors, so to speak, and we were going to figure out who the winners were. Okay, so now this is how you start to slim down your options. So if you notice, we found out in step one that we have no positive real zeros. So that means when I look at my list and I see a positive 1, a positive 2, a positive 3, and a positive 6, step one's telling me that I don't have any positive real numbers. So that means that I can start to cross out my list. That means I don't have any of these, so which reduces me to -1, -2, -3, and -6, which is awesome. So what makes factoring a higher order polynomial so difficult, finding its zeros, is that a lot of it is guessing. So now I'm going to pick one of these, use synthetic division, and see if I found a winner or not, meaning see if I found one that was a 0. If it's a 0, the remainder will be 0. That's what makes it a 0. The remainder is 0. So what you're going to do now is the synthetic division part. So let's, oh, the fun of filming. Okay, 1 second here. Let me just get this guy a little closer so I can see it. Alright, it's going to have to put a can of nuts on it for a second. The life of filmmaking. See, now this, if you like nuts, this is a good combination. Okay, so here we go. This has a 1, a 6, an 11, and a 6. Okay. And it's not missing any degrees. Cube. Got the cube, the quad, the linear, and the constant. Okay, awesome. All right, so this is the part where you're guessing. So I'm going to guess -3. I would suggest, and I'll show you some extra rules as we go along, but I'm guessing -3 because it's in the middle. And I'll show you something called an upper and lower bound, which helps you eliminate options. So, but if you pick in the middle, and it turns out that, nothing lower works, then that helps you eliminate some options. So, okay, I'm picking -3, and I'm going to test it. So for it to be a winner, the remainder has to be 0. So I showed you before how to do this. You bring the first number down, you multiply, you add, you multiply, you add, multiply, you add. Okay. Now, I didn't actually know that was the answer, but I'm feeling all proud of myself right now because I got the winner, right, a first shot. Now, if something is not a winner, what happens is you have a remainder, and then that one's garbage, and you go back and try another one, and you keep trying until you get your winner, because we know for sure that we have at least one negative real zero. Okay, so what does all this mean? I'll show you. Okay, I'll show you what this means. We started with okay, x cubed, 6x squared, 11x. Okay, we started with this, and what we just did was we found that x equals to -3 is, there's a lot of ways to say what this is. We can say it's an x-intercept, we can say it's a 0, we can move it to the other side and say it's a factor, which is what we want to do here. So if you notice, if you push the -3 to the left and make it a +3, what you did was that you pulled out one linear factor. You started with a 3rd degree and you made it into a 1st and a 2nd degree. So this is what's left over when you pull out the x plus 3. You're left with x squared plus 3x plus 2. right? Remember, this is the quotient in synthetic division, right? 1x squared, 3x, and 2. Now, once you get it down to the, once you break it down to a quadratic, you just see, okay, can I factor it, or do I need to use a quadratic formula? This one happens to factor. Which is part, let's see, we got part D here, and I'll go back and finish part C. This is part D, where it's completely factored. So instead of it being written like this, we completely factored it. And part C, I was going to have you list the zeros. So let's just go ahead and, for part C, since we found them. So the zeros are going to be, until I write your test, I might have this in a different order, but just so you know all the parts. So the zeros are going to be -3, -2, and -1. That would be like if you set this equal to 0 and said what the x-intercepts are. Right? It'd be -3, -2, -1. So that brings me all the way back to what we started with when we did Descartes' rule of signs, right? When we, I don't know, where did I hide your chart? Okay, well oh, it's right above me. It's right in front of my face. I'm telling you, the coffee's not working this morning, gang. I'm trying. So that goes back to the combinations we talked about before. These are all real numbers. These are all real numbers. So we have this case. We had no positives. We had 3 negative real zeros and no complex. So this was the particular combination that broke down to be the winner. Okay, there it is. That's 3 negative real zeros. All right, gang, that's it. This one's done. I will do another one. Even if you only understood a small piece of what I did, that is excellent. These take a lot of steps, and you just sort of got to keep at it until it starts to settle in and make sense. I will do another, and hopefully it'll settle in even further. I'll catch you again soon. Bye-bye.